ここは前川に行く前に取った追いついて入れるボストン
Yo guys, it's your boy Niren here. I don't know what you were expecting. I've got a haircut now. And welcome to FTW. This, of course, is the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. And it has been an absolutely huge week where Titans of the United Kingdom have aimed to create a monopoly versus the little guy to change our day-to-day lives forever. Marks and Spencer's tried to flipping copyright Colin the Caterpillar. Can you believe it? Freedom and them. They're trying to sue ALDI for having a cake that's the same as one of theirs. And it got me thinking, what's so good about the ALDI one? What's in it for them to need to sue them?
The secret ingredient is crime.
Nah, but for real, other than that, it's been a pretty quiet week overall. Right, so to summarize, there was a Super League and now there isn't. Thank you very much. Cheers. Appreciate. Like and subscribe. You know the plans by now, but to summarize, Florentino Perez and the chairman and owners of some of the biggest clubs in Europe came together with the plan for an elite European Super League competition, with 12 breakaway sides planning to start it away from FIFA and UEFA jurisdiction, but those plans are now in the mud after fan and investor pressure. Imagine working for years on a project only to be denied by a 53-year-old man from Bolton.
Fuck the ESL! Fuck the ESL! Fuck the ESL!
Others had different ways of protesting the situation. Mike Dean slaughtered... What? This isn't even... Why is Mike Dean involved? Now, I'm here to tell you, your beloved chicken, Jermaine, it was in fact killed by Mike. For fuck's sake, man. But before we get into any of that, let's rewind all the way back to the start. It's Sunday afternoon, and there's rumblings of this concept and announcement coming during Manchester United's game against Burnley. Gary Neville was having absolutely none of it.
But I'm disgusted. Absolutely disgusted.
And then blam, at, I don't know, like 11:57 p.m. A completely respectable time for an announcement involving 6 British teams. It occurred. ALDI's lawyers arrived. No, oh, you mean the Super League. Okay, apology. There was talk of clubs getting banned from European and domestic competition. Talk of players not being allowed at the Euros, which meant that Eric Dyer still wasn't going to the Euros. We were about to end up with Leeds United facing off against Crystal Palace for a Champions League spot.
Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
La Liga side Real Betis edited all the Spanish clubs involved in the Super League discussions out of the table to raise themselves up in the league. It's a shithousery award for them. And all of this because the top 6 sides couldn't stand Jesse Lingard being in the form that he's in. We wouldn't have even been getting the real players on FIFA 22 because of licensing. I don't want to use Virgil von Strijk in Ultimate Team. It was a complete mess. And all because the heads of these clubs wanted the NFL, the American experience for football. A halftime show. Who's even gonna perform?
This shit is wicked on these mean streets. None of my friends speak. We all trying to win.
And these clubs were leaving for one reason and one reason alone. It was greed. They knew they were going to be earning far more in this new concept league, playing against each other and raking in all of the TV money. They were even getting £3.6 billion each just from signing up to the thing. And understandably, the clubs left behind were not pleased. Wolves removed the top 6 from all recent standings, which made them the Premier League champions of 2018-2019. Leeds relegated Liverpool down to their Pro Evo version, calling them Merseyside Reds online. And I'm not surprised, this plan goes through and the biggest game in England is the Sidemen charity match.
Oh no! Deji! Deji!
Marcelo Bielsa was far from pleased.
El exceso de crecimiento de los fuertes.
He said it's fucking shite, mate.
Arsenal centre-back Rob Holding was providing the subtle digs. And even Domino's Pizza were getting in on the act. Why are these lot talking about greed? It's £21.50 for a margarita at yours. That's just glorified cheese on toast. The state of football was in complete disarray. Liverpool played Leeds and drew 1-1, but to be frank, nobody cared about the football or the inevitable garden bowls this week that followed. Though I say, it was all about the protest that had started in the build-up to the game. One journalist reported on a Thiago shot being hit over the bar, met by the sounds of a man playing Money on the saxophone outside the stadium. This is it. Football can never peak from this point onwards. And the players were starting to be disgruntled as well. Themselves and the managers hadn't even been informed of these plans. And the captains of the top 6 held an official meeting. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang turned up casual. But what even really was the plan from the captains here? Now look, hear me out. If we throw Harry Maguire at them head first, protesting started to ramp up in severity, most namely at Chelsea and Stamford Bridge, Arsenal and the Emirates, as well as Tottenham. Furthermore, how did Spurs even get involved in this Super League in the first place? These lot got done over by a dog this week. They announced Dulux as their official paint supplier, who then proceeded to rip them on social media, talking about a lack of trophies and lack of centre-backs. The admin was hence sacked, but really and truly that's only going to paint over the cracks of the relationship. That was a good one, come on. UEFA threatened to take away all of these clubs' titles and didn't even bother CCing Spurs into the email. I'd have loved to have seen the scenes when Daniel Levy started piping up in meetings.
What's your name, sorry? Who are you? Go on. Just help, yeah. Just help out, do your job, yeah. Don't be laughing.
US television were taking the piss.
You've got some really big British clubs and Tottenham as well.
And Irish side Bray Wanderers were left wondering how they didn't make it in with the same amount of titles. As the calls for action spiraled, the pressure continued to tell until Manchester City and Chelsea both folded. They pulled out at roughly the same time and were followed quickly after by Spanish side Atletico Madrid. The rest of the top 6 in England then collectively pulled out. Was it fan pressure? Was it saving face? I'm looking forward to the apologies, attempting to shift the blame from all these owners.
Someone said it, innit, not me, innit, but I agree with that person as well, innit, but I was not the one that, you know what I'm saying.
But what are my overall opinions? I mean, I've talked about it in recent videos, which you can check out in the description, but really and truly, this was almost an irreparable loss for football. We simply can't have owners of clubs going behind the fans, the players, the staff, the managers' backs, and trying to create their own exclusive league with no competition, no promotion or relegation. It ruins the respective pyramids, and it ruins the idea of even testing yourselves in a sports format. European football just isn't like American sports. It's not the same culture. We need to keep that energy up, however, against UEFA and FIFA. They're not the good guys either, and their recent changes to the Champions League format are horrendous as well. And we need to keep that up with bigger issues as well, whether that be gender representation or even race issues, as recently as Heung-min Son getting abused by Manchester United fans, or player-to-player racism during games. And speaking of that, there was actually some football out on the pitch this week, as Arsenal dumped Slavia Prague out of Europe with a 4-0 second leg Europa League win. 3 black players scored the goals to knock them out. Kudella's at home having an aneurysm, mate. For fuck's sake, even my TV's coloured. Oh, now it's in black and what? Nicolas Pepe put pressure on himself to perform in this one after posting this video of a Call of Duty style format. If he doesn't score in this game, he's getting rinsed for it for the rest of his life. And look, before anyone says anything, not all Slavia fans are bad. In the same way, not all Slavia players are bad people. But the way the club has handled the Kudela versus Kamara situation is detriment to the whole world of football. They've massively let themselves down. Racism can never be excused, and it can never be used as a bargaining chip to counter the fact that someone was beaten up in the tunnel. So overall, I'm pretty fucking happy they're out. In all of this mess, Jose Mourinho's sacking from Spurs somehow snuck under the radar. He was relieved of his duties at the club, and honestly, he looked relieved to have no duties at the club. He saw the European Super League on the horizon and cut loose.
Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Real Madrid and Tottenham Hotspur have all joined as founding clubs. The statement says it is anticipated that a further 3 clubs will join ahead of the inaugural season, which is
He loves it. He can skedaddle out of here. Nobody's talking about how much of a failure that stint at Spurs was. He's filming it all for his Instagram account.
They don't give me privacy. Even my friend Gary is disturbing me. That's my life.
And now Ryan Mason is in temporary charge at Spurs, which I'll be honest won't have the same effect for All or Nothing Season 2. Elsewhere, and Sheffield United have been relegated officially from the Premier League. So badly that even the Super League couldn't have saved them. I feel bad for them, honestly. I did really enjoy having them in the Premier League for the last 2 years. Chris Wilder's a G, and so is this fan who replicated a picture from when he was young, when Sheffield United were last relegated from the Premier League, and recreated it 15 years later as an adult. And Schalke know all about relegation from the top tier as well. They were sent packing out of the Bundesliga down into the 2nd division. Their fans had a relatively different reaction.
Junge, die jagen die Spieler, Alter.
But Squadron Mustafi and Sead Kolasinac getting relegated. Football's already healing. Manchester City posted a happy birthday to longtime servant and goalkeeper Joe Hart this week. Unfortunately, they got it a day early, but the sentiment was nice. Meanwhile, over at West Ham United's women's side, whilst 8-0 up in their most recent fixture, they ran out of midfielders on the bench and had to substitute a goalkeeper on to sit in the middle of the park. I beg nobody tells Pep Guardiola. He'll get ideas for Edison. Over in Germany, Hansi Flick has announced he's leaving Bayern Munich at the end of the season to take over as German national team manager. He won 83 trophies in a year and just decided to dip out of there. All he's got to do is not put his fingers in his arse and smell them, and he's already done a better job than the last manager. In France, and we've got a brilliant story where 4th tier side Rumilly-Valliere have knocked Toulouse out of the Coupe de France, and that means they're into the semi-finals, the final 4 of the competition. I don't know who they face in the next round, but I hope it's the tie to end all ties for them. I have, however, come to the conclusion that every team below Marseille, Lyon and PSG in the whole French pyramid is the exact same level of quality. Italy have announced their away kit for the Euros, and it looks like a knockoff you'd buy in Sports Direct. Over in the MLS, and Gonzalo Higuain genuinely looks like he works in a garage now. Meanwhile, with this haircut, Nani looks like he's driving his sports car into the garage. Over in Spain, and Barcelona won a one-sided Copa del Rey final against Athletic Club, inspired by Lionel Messi. He scored a wonder goal, bit of a solo effort with some nice interchanging play, and his teammates knew to score. All of them wanted to pick with him. I don't think any of them actually cared about the final. So you want to pick with the trophy, yes? Ousmane Dembele tried to get into the La Masia photo, which is of course exclusively for players who came through Barca's academy. Ousmane, you're literally French. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty. And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Over in Bulgaria, and one referee went to show a player a yellow card before realizing he'd left all of them back in the changing room. Over in the Turkish second division, and a video went viral this week of Muslim footballers breaking fast during an injury stoppage in an evening football match. Obviously, this was the time during the evening that they were meant to have their second meal after the one before sunrise, and it was just good to actually see them get the chance to be able to carry out religious actions, even during the game. Over in the South Korean League, a striker by the name of Faisal Mulic, who plays for Songnam, burst through on goal before slotting it into the back of the net. It made it 2-0 in the game, and he celebrated by whipping his top off before realizing he was crucially already on a yellow card. You can see the pain on the man's face. Meanwhile, it's the moment you've all been waiting for, because over in Romania, and after winning the Romanian Super Cup, CFR Cluj players decided to get on the conveyor belt in the airport, rush through the curtains with their luggage and with the trophy. Not gonna lie, I feel like they might have to pay a little bit extra for luggage here. Just hold on to the... You did the hard part. In Brazil, and it seems like having an extra referee just simply isn't doing the job. Sticking with that theme, and in a game between Mirassol and Botafogo, after a reckless challenge and the possibility of a fight breaking out, one referee wasn't taking any chances. He needed to get to the scene of the crime immediately.
Contra-ataque todo. Fechou o tempo ali.
Meanwhile, in the Championship, and Wycombe Wanderers kept their slim survival hopes alive with a late Adebayo Akinfenwa penalty against Bristol City, which was won by Wycombe's goalkeeper. I don't know how that even happens. Now though, it is time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is the segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And after the complexities and dramas of this week in the Super League, let's keep things simple with grassroots football. None of this tiki-taka playing out from the back. And that's the reason why. On to the weird stuff though now. In Ukraine, and Dynamo Kiev manager Mircea Lucescu started having verbals with his own fans from the dugout, shouting and screaming back at them because they were giving him stick for once managing their rivals Shakhtar Donetsk. The fact that his assistant comes over to him and tells him to concentrate on their game is astounding. Stop arguing, you are 83 years old. In Russia, an FC Rostov's manager felt aggrieved by refereeing decisions against his team. He came out with an absolutely shambolic statement saying that if he had Hitler, Napoleon, and this referee in front of him with only 2 bullets, he would shoot the ref twice. What kind of VAR nonsense was there here? But on a serious level, please treat referees with respect. They're trying their hardest. And finally, over in Ecuador, goalkeeper Joaquin Pucheta is facing a year-long ban from football after he started urinating on the pitch during a first division match. Apparently, he tried to do it unsuspectingly, but was caught and basically kicked off the pitch by the opposition players. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. I apologize if there wasn't as many all over the world stories this week, but as you can imagine, the Super League kind of dominated everything, so those stories were quite hard to find this time. But if you did enjoy it, then slap a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. You can also follow me on social media. It's at officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.